now, the search is on for the person responsible for shooting a teenager, possibly for drugs, police say. News Channel 5 Station 9 joins us live from Vanderbilt Medical Center with the latest. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Amy. Yes, that teenager, 17 years old, he admitted to police that he was actually trying to sell marijuana when he was shot around midnight last night. He says he was at an apartment complex in Hermitage. He didn't specify which one. In fact, police are saying that he is not cooperating with them and giving them the information that they need to catch this shooter. He went into surgery a few hours ago. He was shot 3 times. In the arm and in the chest, but they do say that it will be non-life-threatening injuries and he should be okay. So all of this happened, like we said, at an unknown apartment complex in the Hermitage area. After being shot, the victim, he drove himself to a home on Hadley's Bend Boulevard. And like we said, he admitted to officers he was trying to sell pot whenever he was shot. And now police are just trying to get information out of him to find out exactly who his shooter could be. If you know anything about this crime or happen to see anything happen in the Hermitage area last night that could help police, you're asked to call 74-CRIME. We're live at Vanderbilt Medical Center. Deja Knight, News Channel 5 HD.
Deja, thank you. And new this morning, what started as a domestic disturbance call ended with negotiators and a SWAT team on the scene. Around 9 last night, police were called to a home on White Oak Court in Antioch. The man they wanted to talk with refused to come out, so police called in negotiators and, as a precaution, the SWAT team. Meanwhile, neighbors were asked to stay indoors. Negotiators eventually convinced the man to come out peacefully. He's facing assault charges and a psychiatric evaluation. And a convenience store clerk was robbed at gunpoint in Madison just as he was closing his store early this morning. Police say a man forced his way into the Supermercado Latino Market on Due West Avenue just after about 1 o'clock this morning. He then robbed the clerk gunpoint, took cash from the register and took off. The suspect's about 5'7", slender, and was last seen running eastbound on Due West Avenue.
There was no curfew in Ferguson, Missouri last night, but the National Guard troops and a small army of police were there along with hundreds of protesters.
It was another tense night in that suburb north of St. Louis. Police used tear gas on the crowd. They made several arrests. Protesters are being told that they have to keep moving, and if they congregate or they linger, they risk arrest. A dedicated zone has now been established for the nightly protests. Police are even asking them to protest only during the day. The situation stems from the death of 18-year-old Michael Brown, who was shot several times by a Ferguson police officer, and it's gotten the attention of the White House. Of course, we'll have much more on that and the situation in Ferguson coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
Speed may have been a factor in a crash that claimed the life of a 3-year-old girl, according to the police. First responders went to the 4600 block of Bull Run Road around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. They say that red 4-door sedan, they think, was speeding when it went off the road and hit the utility pole. Now, the toddler was in a car seat properly, but police say somehow that seat came loose at impact and then hit the back of the driver's seat. The girl died later at the hospital. As for the driver, the mother, she has been treated for serious injuries.
A woman who is facing a public intoxication charge got creative during her arrest. Kentucky New Era reports officers were called to Martindale Street in Cadiz Friday, where they found Ebony Byers drunk. When officers tried to arrest her, Byers claimed she was having a seizure, so they rushed her to the hospital, where she then bit a male nurse. Byers still got that public intoxication charge, but picked up a 3rd-degree assault charge along the way.
Brittany Filatro was stopped in Hopkinsville on suspicion of being drunk in public. When police took her downtown, they warned her several times about bringing contraband into the facility, but during a strip search, they found 3 baggies of cocaine, so now she's facing additional charges: public intoxication, 1st-degree cocaine trafficking, and bringing drugs into the jail.
Happening today, the woman accused in a hit and run that killed a teenager is expected in a court. 33-year-old Tina Wilson is facing multiple charges, including vehicular homicide by intoxication. She will be arraigned today. Prosecutors say Wilson kept driving after hitting 13-year-old Clifton Braunwalder on the side of I-24 in Smyrna in April. Clifton was changing a tire on his mother's car when he was killed. A witness followed Wilson after the accident and led police to her. Investigators say she was under the influence.
A Little League World Series umpire's White Bluff home burned to the ground while he was up umpiring a series in Pennsylvania at the Little League World Series. The house on Old County House Road went up in flames Saturday. Investigators believe it's now a total loss. The cause of the fire is still unknown, but they say it probably started in a utility room. A former Fort Campbell soldier accused of possessing hundreds of images of child pornography will not be going to trial after all. Henry Epps entered a best interest plea, and he agreed to serve time, according to our friends at the Leaf Chronicle. Epps pleaded guilty to 6 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor. He'll serve an 8-year prison sentence at 100%. He was arrested back in April 2011 when his computer was flagged for downloading child porn.
The traffic situation on I-65 in Williamson County has greatly improved since Friday's deadly tanker explosion. Part of Paytonsville Road Bridge has since been demolished and removed. But until it's rebuilt, the loss of the bridge could pose a problem for first responders headed to emergencies. So to work around it, Franklin fire crews are temporarily moving their home to the Williamson County Ag Expo Center. A paramedic unit is also stationed there, and police officers will be staffing the temporary center around the clock. So good news for them and for all those who live in that area.